Coming to you live from Ursprung Gymnasium in Berea, Ohio, it's Game 2 of the BW Holiday Invitational Tournament, featuring the host Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and the Fighting Scots from the College of Wooster. This is the second game of the day, 2 out of 4 today and 2 out of 8 for the entire tournament. There will be a men's tournament after the 2 games here this afternoon. The 2016 BW Holiday Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Park Place Technologies. Park Place Technologies is the leader in after-warranty data center hardware maintenance and support. BW also would like to thank the BSN Sports Sales Pro, Mick Carroll, who provided all the t-shirts for the teams in this tournament. Hi everybody, Brendan Gulick and Jeff Miller along with you. Looking forward to a game today that on paper heavily favors the Yellow Jackets, who are 9-0 overall, 4-0 in the conference, off to their best start in well over a decade. And they're playing a team from Worcester who has lost 9 games in a row. They're 1-9 on the season.
Two different totally teams, one on the opposite end, looking to upset and knock off a team that's looking to set a school record, you know, possibly for wins in a season, wins in a row. I mean, that year that they start off 11-0, they won 23 of their 24 first 4 games. So this is a team that you can't take lightly in the Fighting Scots. Anybody on the NCAC, Coach Hare always plays against, you know, knows anything at any time could happen, and you can't take a night off.
Baldwin Wallace with 9 impressive wins so far this season. Some of them were close, some of them were not. And it's fun to look at 2 teams who have played so many common opponents in the first 10 games of their schedule. 4 of the first 9 for BW and 10 for Worcester are against the same teams. They've both played Oberlin, Case Western Reserve, and then Ohio Athletic Conference foes Marietta and Muskingum. All 4 of those games, BW won, and Worcester fell short. So for whatever that's worth, it's worth noting that BW is obviously really coming into their own this season. And while it's certainly fun to point to Mackenzie Colombo and Sidney Clark, I think it's the depth for Baldwin Wallace that is really proving to be tough for whoever they're playing against.
Definitely a total aspect for Coach Hare. With at times we'll see 4 or all 5 freshmen. She runs a line of 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore at times. So there's the depth, and to have that much confidence in a Riley Shale, a Tiffany Bentler, a Casey Hughes, who will start more than likely. You know, you're bringing out 3 start freshmen and not worrying about the ball control, and they just go.
One of the names you didn't mention, Hannah Fecht, 43% three-point shooter on the season. Her 23s have more than doubled up everyone else on the team. Sidney Clark, the only other consistently really good three-point shooter. Baldwin Wallace has done a pretty good job here of late, but both of these teams with long layoffs. It's been 8 days for Baldwin Wallace and 9 days for the College of Wooster since each team had their most recent game because of the Christmas holiday. Starting lineups when we come back. It's the Yellow Jackets and the Fighting Scots in Game 2 of the afternoon from the BW Holiday Invitational, broadcast live here on BWYellowJackets.com. Time for the starting lineups before Baldwin Wallace and Wooster take the hard court in the second game of the afternoon on BWYellowJackets.com. We'll start with the visiting Fighting Scots from the College of Wooster. They are led by head coach Lisa Papinetto. At guard, a sophomore from Gahanna, Ohio, down in the Columbus area, Anna Gibbs. She is the team's leading scorer, and in most categories, you're going to find her leading the way, 13.3 points per contest. At guard, a freshman from Goshen, Kentucky, Kat Fiorito. At guard, a senior from Westlake on the near west side of Cleveland, Rachel Collins. At forward, a junior from East Aurora, New York, Katie Mandich. And finally, a sophomore center, 6 feet tall from Medina High School on the south side of Cleveland, Kristina Vukovic. Again, it's Gibbs, Fiorito, Collins, Mandich, and Vukovic for the Fighting Scots. For the Yellow Jackets and head coach Sherry Harrer in her 27th season, the winningest coach in school history. At guard, a freshman from Springboro down in the Dayton area, Casey Hughes. At forward, a senior from Lake Ridge Academy in Parma, Sydney Clark. At guard, a junior from Fairview High School in Fairview Park, Katie Smith. At guard, a senior from Strasburg High School, Mackenzie Colombo. And at forward, a senior from Canton, Ohio, Louisville High School, it's post player Clara Lemon. Hughes, Clark, Smith, Colombo, and Lemon for head coach Sherry Harrer, whose Yellow Jackets are red hot this season, 9-0 to start the 2016-2017 campaign. Again, if you joined us a little late, I'm Brendan Gulick alongside Jeff Miller, and our game here this afternoon will be officiated by Colleen Thompson, Sarah Burgess, and Bob Dominico. Worcester will be in their black tops and black shorts, Baldwin Wallace in their home whites. Jeff, a game today that obviously features some discrepancies between these two teams so far this season, but you know as well as I do, you got to take every game individually because any team can get hot at any point.
You're definitely right on that, and I've seen it, you know, in some of the games already with Coach Hare and in her career and just this season that came out with the victory. Still wasn't happy with the performance of the team. Always happy with the victory, but want the team to get the fundamentals the way they want to play. So I know she's already told them, don't look at the scores, don't look at the record. Let's just look at the Fighting Scots and watch Anna Gibbs and, you know, Vukovic on the boards. You know, this is who we got to key on. Let's get this game. Let's go get our championship tomorrow.
Obviously, Worcester's had a tough season so far at 1-9, but sometimes it can be dangerous to play a team like that because they know that their season's not over. They are 0-3 in conference. It could still turn some things around. And sometimes those kinds of teams play with house money. So we'll see if Baldwin Wallace can keep their focus for all 40 minutes here this afternoon. Jump ball is won and controlled by the Jackets, and off we go in game 2 of the afternoon from Baldwin Wallace. This is Colombo right to the rim, and she could not find the bottom of the can. Fiorito with the rebound as Gibbs brings it up the floor. Anna Gibbs, again, the one you'll want to keep your eye on. She wears number 4, working the weak side of the floor at the moment. Gibbs has the ball back, looking for some help. And she'll pull up a step inside the arc. It's too strong, tipped out of bounds by the Scots.
A little bit of what we talked about in the pregame, the confidence level that Coach Hare has in her new players. In a freshman, Casey Hughes is guarding Gibbs.
There is a definite level of confidence and a noticeable level of confidence in the underclassmen on this year's Yellow Jacket group. 9-0 for the first time in over a decade. Katie Smith with a skip pass. A head fake and a drive, and Clara Lemon finishes. First basket of the game gives Baldwin Wallace a 2-0 lead.
Look for Colombo to keep distributing the ball like she has been all of her career here. Been a starter every game since she stepped foot in Berea.
From the middle of the paint, Vukovic can't find it. It's turned over, though, when Lemon threw an outlet pass to a black jersey. 3 ball coming from Collins, and she airballed it. Pinballs in the middle of the paint. Sydney Clark with a skip pass across. Hughes fakes, dumps back to Clark. She's got another bucket.
Pretty give and go right there. You know, looked like Hughes was going to go up for the layup, and then she just rolled one right to a streaking Clark.
Fiorito feeds the high post extended. Good defense from Clara Lemon. Forced a bad dribble. Mandich picked it up, chucked it up, and missed it. First 2 minutes, a good start for the Jackets. Katie Smith looking for a three. And it was off the mark. Clark crashes the boards. Smith goes to the lane and banks it in.
That's things that Coach Hare and the Yellow Jacket coaching staff have preached all of their careers of coaching here. Don't give up on a play.
Sherry Harrer pacing up and down that sideline was clapping her hands a moment ago. Worcester's three ball a little short for Mandich, and the Jackets force the tempo. Smith throws it back to the top of the perimeter. And Clark turns it over, looking for her, cutting around the baseline. So Sydney Clark's turned the ball over a couple of times, and there comes the first basket of the game for Anna Gibbs.
Just what they needed to get off the schneid there a little bit. You don't want to give up a big push to start and, you know, get back right into this now.
Colombo bounces toward the corner where Lemon sizes up a three. Not a bad idea, but short out of her hand. A couple of new Jackets waiting to check back in as Collins considered shooting from long range. Instead, it goes up and ins, and Rachel Collins, I beg your pardon, it was Fiorito that pump fake from three on the left side, and Collins that put the basket in.
You're going to have Schill and Hannah Feck checking in for the Yellow Jackets. And you'll have two Scots, but I can't see their numbers because they're bent down. 15 coming in, who is Courtney Lockhart. And then we have one more that's coming in for the shooter. And I can't see her number because I'm blocked by two Scots.
It's 6-4 at the moment, but Collins has a chance to make it 6-5. Not this time. Offensive rebound from Vukovic. And she can't tie the game. Hannah Feck, that's a girl you're going to want to keep your eye on. She is a really, really good shooter. And she lets it fly here. Bottom of the net. Hannah Feck immediately off the bench and into the scoring column. 9 for BW.
Definitely a player that could be a starter here, but I think she takes her role at be the spark off the bench quite well.
Good little post move from Vukovic. She got her own offensive rebound, and the Mikan drill helps her out. She puts it in. 9-6.
Nice little reverse layup from underneath the rim.
Clark back to Katie Smith, who had a really nice game against Ohio Wesleyan here about 10 days ago. First foul of the game is whistled against Kat Fiorito.
Checking in for the Jackets will be Tiffany Bentler, number 5, and number 22, Rachel Walmendorf. In for the Scots, I'm sorry, number 3.
Well, they put Aki Sherelds and Natalie Casciano in there.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I missed both of them.
Not a problem. 11-6 Baldwin Wallace after the basket goes in for new Yellow Jacket Rachel Wammeldorf. Sydney Clark comes out. Kara Marshall checks in.
Kind of like we talked about in the pregame. You have 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores on the floor.
None of the 5 on the floor were starters for Baldwin Wallace, and we'll see what kind of defensive energy they come out with. 12-6, BW out front early. Sherelds buries an open 3, 12-9.
Probably the best looking shot the Scots have fired up this game.
Kara Marshall in transition missed the layup, and the rebound tipped to the Fighting Scots, Aki Sherelds, junior from South San Francisco out in California. Goes to school an awfully long way from home. Runner in the lane, not kind to Courtney Lockhart, who, as she fought for her own rebound, dropped the basketball. Jackets come away with it. Marshall on the backside, goes to the rim, and she traveled. Kind of like the first game of our tournament today. First quarter was off to a really fast start. LaRoche and Loris both scored at an incredible clip in the first quarter before calming down a bit. Anna Gibbs comes back on. Aquia Tilton, the freshman from Southfield, Michigan, checks in. And the final sub is Katie Mandich back out there. Gibbs through the lane, forced it in. It rattled its way around before falling through. Well, she's got 3 points. And one. Rachel Wammeldorf back at the stripe for her second and one of the game.
One player that we're, not to jump the gun for tomorrow, but that's a player that's going to have to step up if they do get the chance to play Loris.
Free throw is good. It's 15-11. You mentioned the winner of this game plays Loris, who beat LaRoche 73-66 in the first game of the tournament just before this one had tipped off. There's also a men's tournament being hosted here today and tomorrow. Baldwin Wallace's men's team will play immediately after this game, after the shot was pulled back in there by, once again, Wammeldorf. Fecht for three. She steps into it and buries another. Things are going the Jacket way at the moment. 18-11, Baldwin Wallace by 7 as Wooster calls timeout in the middle of the first quarter. Second quarter, I beg your pardon, first quarter action continues after a timeout called for by the Worcester Fighting Scots. They find themselves down 18-11 after 2 threes from Hannah Fecht. And a travel sends the basketball back the other direction. Rachel Wammeldorf with 2 3-point plays as she was fouled on her layups, and she hit both free throws. And Hannah Fecht has hit 2 threes. So they've got 12 of the 18 Jacket points early on. And both of them came off the bench. Tiffany Bentler working it toward the corner where Wammeldorf tried a long one. Fecht got the rebound. Back to Bentler. And the 3 ball doesn't drop. Tipped out of bounds, and it stays with Wooster. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. It's about 20 minutes after 4 o'clock. This game tipped off just a couple minutes late because of the longer than anticipated second half in game 1. Did not go to overtime, but lots of stoppages for team called timeouts because it was a tightly contested affair. Gibbs at the top of the arc. 12 to shoot. Tilton gave it away to Sherelds. Back to Gibbs. 4 to let it fly. She steps back. And it clanks too long off the back of the orange. Fecht rebounds and the Jackets run. And Butler's pass is deflected out of bounds.
And back to another freshman is guarding Anna Gibbs. So you're going to have, when the starters are on the bench, you're getting, well, even when the starters were, because Casey Hughes was guarding her at first, but a freshman is taking a senior on and the best player for Worcester.
Just reset the floor for you because there's 4 new players out there. Bentler remains, but Smith, Clark, Colombo, and Lemon all come back out. Fresh clock to work with. Colombo thought about 3. Lemon in the left corner against this man-to-man defense. Good ball movement around the perimeter, 10 to shoot, and an offensive foul. That fires up Katie Mandich on the Fighting Scots bench. She was beat red as she was popping to her feet and screaming. She loves the defensive effort from her teammates. As Casey Hughes comes back in the game and Tiffany Bentler has a seat. So it's the starting 5 back out there now for Sherry Harrer's group. Sherelld's not a bad little guard. She scores the ball okay. I know they are looking for her to continue to grow. They need her leadership for sure. Lockhart traveled on her drop step. That's a good call. Bob Domenico whistled her for the violation. It remains 18-11. It's been that way for the last 2 minutes since the Wooster 30-second timeout.
BW's hot hand shooting has kind of gone cold a little bit.
Colombo gets it right back with 10 to shoot. Hughes with a great ball fake. Feeds Lemon, who has a much higher percentage look, but her miss is the third consecutive missed shot for the Jackets. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. BW by 7. Sherelds can't figure out which side of the floor she prefers. Vukovic needs to help her out. She's got to give up the ball. And finally, she puts it on the deck. Lost the dribble, 4 to shoot it. Tilton has to hurry. It did not drop in. Sydney Clark clears it for BW. Clark all the way up the floor. The trail pass comes back to Colombo. Casey Hughes on the interior pass had it poked free.
3 minutes without a basket for either team right now.
This one from Sherelds is way off the mark, and it goes back the other way. All right, so both teams have cooled off a little bit. I'm sure it won't stay like that all game long, as Wooster sends freshman guard Kat Fiorito back in there. Courtney Lockhart played with some good energy, but she turned the ball over a couple of times, so she'll have a seat probably for the rest of the first quarter. We'll also see Kylie Orr, the freshman from Newport, Kentucky, check in soon. Colombo misfired on 3, and Baldwin Wallace has missed 4 shots in a row.
Like we said in the first game, the hot hand isn't going to keep going like they would.
Well, Sherelds finally broke the streak, and she's got a 3-pointer that goes in with a minute left. Hughes wants to answer, and she buries a pure shot. 21-14, Baldwin Wallace. Final minute of play in the opening quarter. Tilton looks underneath, and she led Fiorito too much. 3 subs coming on as Gibbs returns, along with Orr for her first appearance, and Natalie Cashigano. Cashigano, a 5'11 senior. She and Vukovic both with good size in the paint. They have both played okay so far this year, but Cashigano hasn't put up quite the same numbers that Vukovic has. 15 seconds left with no shot clock here in the first quarter. Baldwin Wallace will go to the second quarter with the lead, but how big will it be? Colombo did not use the screen. Hughes for 3. And she missed it short.
That one wasn't as set as she was the time down the floor before, and she knew it. She started smiling as soon as she let it go.
All right, so there's the end of the first quarter. It's a good start for Baldwin Wallace, but still 30 minutes of basketball left ahead of us. 21-14, the Jackets on top in the BW Holiday Invitational Tournament. '16 BW Invitational is being sponsored by Park Place Technologies. Park Place Technologies is the leader in after-warranty data center hardware maintenance and support. BW also would like to thank the BSN Sports Sales Pro, Mick Carroll, who's provided all the t-shirts for the teams in this tournament. Just about to start the second quarter with BW out in front, 21-14. Nice first quarter for Baldwin Wallace, connecting on 8 of 17 shots and forcing Wooster to connect only on 33% of theirs. Another Wooster turnover, that's their 6th and the 11th turnover in the first 10 minutes of the game. So we've seen some sloppiness early on, but Baldwin Wallace has gotten some scoring from their bench, and that's made the difference so far. Colombo on the right wing. And she goes back toward Hughes. Sydney Clark looking for a lane. Never really had a good handle on it. And the jump ball keeps it on this side of the floor.
We were talking, you said 8 of 17 from the field for the Jackets. They missed those 4 or 5 straight there. They were shooting, they were on fire for a while there, and then just kind of missed those 5 and got the rhythm back as the quarter ended.
Clark and Hughes have a seat, and Effect returns, as does Kara Marshall. 12 seconds on the shot clock for Baldwin Wallace. The play was for Effect in the corner, but they'll have to find something else. Actually, I beg your pardon, it's Riley Schill, not Kara Marshall. This is Schill with the basketball. Great feed underneath, and Clara Lemon finishes underneath the cylinder. 23-14.
One of those things we keep talking about, Coach Hare having her freshman here, and Riley Schill looks like to be the heir apparent to Mackenzie Colombo.
Those are words that shouldn't be taken lightly. Schill is a good player, but if you're going to put her in that category, she's got big shoes to fill, and she's done a nice job of it so far if she missed that shot. Jackets with their largest lead of the game at 9 points. And Gibbs finished at the rim. She's playing okay with her second basket. 23-16. Fact open for 3, and it clanks too long. Nice job poking the rebound to herself. There comes Tilton, coast to coast, and she finished it.
That was a pretty play to poke it away from the BW offenders that were trying to grab the board and then go all the way down and pretty layup off the glass.
Colombo wants a deep shot. That one didn't go in, but Fecht was there on the fortuitous bounce. The Jackets just keep on shooting them. Already 9 3-point attempts in the first 11, almost 12 full minutes. Katie Smith for 3, popped away.
That was down the cylinder and out.
So Baldwin Wallace's 9-point lead's been cut to 5. Tilton holds the ball between the rings. Fiorito almost took too many steps. Instead, she put it in the basket.
Kind of looked like that's what Clara Lemon thought there, too, because she just kind of paused there and didn't put an arm up.
A quick 6-0 run for the Fighting Scots, and it's negated by this jump shot from Mackenzie Colombo. 25-20 as Wooster burns a 30-second timeout.
Going to check in for the Jackets will be Mackenzie Matthews, seeing her first action out of the sophomore out of North Royalton, and Rachel Walmendorf will return. Tonight's BW's Women's Basketball Holiday Invitational is being brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. By Domino's Pizza in Berea. Call us at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. And by the Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage and build your future today.
Baldwin Wallace by 5, a couple of minutes into the second quarter. 2 more games on tap the rest of today, and then 4 more tomorrow. BW's men will play the first game of the men's tournament, backing up against the women's game here, the second game of the women's tournament. The men will play against Adrian College, and Rose Holman will square off with a pretty good Medaille team. That'll be set for game 4 of the night, but game 2 on the men's side. BW's getting the ball back, and they have, let's see who they've got on the floor. Fecht, Schill, Bentler, a couple players on the far side. Mackenzie Matthews checking in for the first time, and Rachel Walmendorf. This is Matthews with a basketball, passing it away. Young guard from North Royalton High School, not too far from here. Nice spin move by Matthews in the corner. 10 to shoot. Bentler sidesteps a defender and got swatted out of bounds.
Vukovic knocked that back into the curtain here at BW.
Stays with BW with 8 to shoot. Schill finds Matthews. Back to Schill, 5 to let it go. Wommeldorf, a deep 2. And it hit the front of the rim and carried over.
Not a normal shot for Wommeldorf. She's more of a post player that doesn't really take that mid-range jumper.
You're right, but she has taken a couple from there today now and missed on both. Have to keep our eye on that the rest of the game. A ball fake and a drive from Mandich. It didn't work out for her. The rebound fought for by Fecht. It's a jump ball. Stays with Wooster.
We talked about Fecht in the pregame being the leading shooter for three-point land. She's turned her game into becoming a rebounder as well. She's been having an impressive year rebounding the ball, both offensively and defensively.
Quick trigger for Anna Gibbs, but she banked it too long. And the Jackets run the floor. And Fecht thought she had some room on the baseline. Instead, they reversed the side of the floor. Back to Bentler in the right corner. Schill to Matthews and now to Fecht again. Driving a pass, Schill for 3. That one deflected off the glass and missed the rim entirely. Baldwin Wallace has only scored 4 points since the end of the first quarter, but they still lead by 5. There's a foul underneath the basket. I'm not sure if that was on the shot. I think that may have been on the rebound attempt.
It should have, in my eyes, it should have been on Womendorf coming over the back on the rebound.
That's exactly who they hit. First foul of the second quarter on either team.
Clark and Colombo check back in for the Yellow Jackets.
Kenzie Colombo, the leading scorer this season for BW at 11 points per game. Had a career high against Heidelberg a couple of weeks ago. In one of the more memorable games of her playing career. Most of her damage in that game was in the second half. Game where BW had to come back on the road in conference in a tough game. Second effort from Vukovic didn't help her out. And the Jackets pushed the issue up the floor. Clark, a deep triple. Just off the front of the rim. Halfway through the second quarter, and Worcester's hanging in there. They're 1-9 with 9 straight losses, but you wouldn't know it by the way they're playing against an unbeaten Yellow Jackets team.
Don't want to say after 10 games that you don't have anything to play for, but this is something you're playing for, to knock off a team of the caliber of the Yellow Jackets today.
Mandich missed the 3. Wommeldorf, she faded away and missed on the bank shot. This has been a very low-scoring second quarter. And a foul away from the basket. It's going to go against Wooster.
We had more points in the first quarter in game 1 between LaRoche and Loris than we have in a quarter and a half.
You're right, that was a very high-scoring first quarter in game 1. Clark, Colombo, Bentler, Smith, and Lemon will be the 5 out there for BW now. And after things settle down for Worcester, Anna Gibbs will have a seat. I'm sorry, Anna Gibbs goes to the far side of the floor. Sherelds and Tilton, the other couple of guards, with Vukovic deflecting that one out of bounds. Kat Fiorito, the last Scot out there. I admire the defense from the Fighting Scots. They've only given up 4 points in the last 6.5 minutes. Colombo on the inbound with 18 on the shot clock. She found Lemon, and that's a really good look for a basket.
After the first quarter shooting that you saw from the Yellow Jackets, you wouldn't think that both teams have only scored 6 points in this quarter.
Well, Worcester's 2 timeouts have both been effective because BW, after both timeouts, didn't score for more than 3 minutes both times. A travel call before that shot went up. Sometimes you call a timeout and it's easy to get frustrated when things don't really stop the momentum, if you will. Well, both times for Worcester so far, the timeouts have been well called. And Colombo got nudged as she was going to the basket. BW's largest lead of the game was 9 points, and that was right at the start of this second quarter. They currently lead by 7. In the right corner, Katie Smith pulls up from the keyhole and missed it short. Rebound came down to freshman Kylie Orr. And Fiorito threw it away in the corner.
BW just shooting 3 of 13 from the three-point arc, so maybe that's going to be a conversation at halftime too, that let's try and get it inside.
Yeah, even though BW hasn't done a great job shooting the basketball, I think the defense has been pretty good. They forced 8 turnovers with still 4 minutes basically to play in the second half. They've only scored 4 points off those 8 turnovers though. Lemon's pass toward Colombo, and her foot on the sideline.
With that one, BW's now turned it over 6 times. Let's see if the Scots can get, they've only scored 4 points off of those 6 turnovers as well. So neither team is taking advantage of the turnovers, so good defense on both ends.
Wooster +2 on the glass, but BW's bench has given them a couple of extra points. That was sort of a silly foul on Clara Lemon, but contact nonetheless.
Going to the line, number 3 for Wooster.
So Aki Sherelds goes to the free throw line. Lemon picks up her first and the team's second. Again, Sherelds, a West Coast native. She puts that one up and in.
I was going to say, when you mentioned that earlier, you don't see the similarities in Wooster, Ohio and San Francisco?
Sherelds spins that ball through her hand, puts it up and in. It's 27-22. San Francisco is one of my favorite parts of the country. It is just gorgeous. Fact in the right corner. About 3 minutes to go before halftime. Good ball movement back down to Clark. Colombo, the crossover, 7 to shoot. Bentler gives it up, 3 to get it go. And the shot was deflected and blocked. That shot clock reset, though it never should have. And the officials call for the shot clock violation. Somebody had a little quick trigger finger over at the scores table that time.
Well, we got the buzzer for the subs.
That's right, well officiated by Bob Dominico. Again, Worcester's defense really starting to turn the corner a little bit. Sherry Harrer is encouraging her group to keep competing. 5-point game.
Coming into this, what we talked about, we wouldn't have thought it'd be this close already.
Gibbs in the left corner, wanted to go baseline. Skip pass over the top, Tilton banks it home. Great effort by Aquia Tilton. She's got 4 points. It's 27-24. Worcester is really hanging in there. You could tell Fecht wanted to let that one go. She fought against it. Colombo was open. Instead, she drives and puts it in from right underneath.
Nice dive back to Fecht, too. That's part of her game that's gotten so much better from her freshman year to her sophomore year. She doesn't just want to force a shot. She waits to have that perfect opportunity to fire one.
Colombo's got 4 points. It's 29-24. Kind of a wild shot there, top of the arc. Never went in for Collins. This one loosely brought in near midcourt by Colombo, who goes right back to the rim. Gives it up for Fecht. It didn't go in. You don't want to let a team that's had a tough season hang around for too long, as Anna Gibbs makes it a one-possession game, 29-26.
Yeah, you'll give them the confidence that they have been on a 9-game losing streak that they don't seem to have. Now you'll give it right back to them, and they're right in this game right now.
Mackenzie Colombo with a minute to go in the first half. Clark for 3. That one's off the mark. A fortunate rebound for BW. They keep it as Bentler steps in. She missed it. Couple good looks. They're just not falling for Baldwin Wallace.
I want to say they haven't hit a 3 since the first quarter when Wooster took that timeout after Hannah Feck knocked that down.
It's true, they have not. 0 for 5 shooting the 3 ball in this second quarter. 10 to shoot it. It's about an 18-second difference between game and shot clock. Circling through, Sherelds had way too easy of a look, and she missed it. Baldwin Wallace leads by 3, and they could take the last shot if they want.
4:27 of the first quarter was the last three-pointer made by BW.
Colombo shoots a 3 off balance. She missed it. Tipped back to Feck to put it up, and it doesn't go in. The Fighting Scots from the College of Wooster really stymied Baldwin Wallace's offense in that second quarter, and we have a very competitive game on our hands. 29-26, BW leads by 3 after a low-scoring second quarter as the teams head to the locker room. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll give you some of the first half numbers. It's the Jackets ahead, but only by a couple, here on BWYellowJackets.com. Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jacket basketball this afternoon brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Also by American International. When you require a company with proven performance, know that you can rely on American International. And finally by Crown Plaza in Middleburg Heights. If you're looking for a quality place to stay before or after any Yellow Jacket contest, we hope you choose the Crown Plaza. A few minutes left in our halftime intermission with Baldwin Wallace out front by 3 points, 29-26 over the Wooster Fighting Scots. Brendan Gulick and Jeff Miller with you. And Jeff, it's a 3-point game at the intermission, but Baldwin Wallace has kind of been slowed down offensively after shooting the ball really well in that first quarter. They only hit 4 of 18 shots in the second quarter, and they were 0 for 9 from three-point range in the second quarter. So they probably should feel good about the fact they're still up by 3 points.
You definitely got that right. They went ice cold after they come out in that second quarter, hit a few shots, and then it went cold real quick. I mean, like you said, they didn't hit a three-pointer from the 4:27 mark of the first quarter. So probably that was a conversation. Control the ball, look for better shots, and we'll get them to fall.
No Yellow Jacket has scored more than 6 points. Clara Lemon, Hannah Fecht, Rachel Wommeldorf, all with 6. 4 for Mackenzie Colombo. Casey Hughes hit a three-pointer, 2 apiece for Sydney Clark and for Katie Smith. Game's leading scorer is Aki Sherelds, who came off the bench. She's got 10 points in 14 minutes of action. She's also got 3 rebounds and no turnovers on her line. No turnovers is important because Worcester's turned it over 10 different times, and the Yellow Jackets have been able to capitalize some of those times to kind of push the direction the other way. So hopefully BW can come back out and find that shooter's touch here for half number 2. BW is -1 on the glass. They have turned it over 3 fewer times, and they are leading the assists battle 9-2. When we come back, we'll have the start of the second half in just under 5 minutes. Baldwin Wallace 29, Worcester 26 on BWYellowJackets.com. Ready to go for the second half in the second game of 4 today at Baldwin Wallace University. It's the host Yellow Jackets against the Fighting Scots from the College of Wooster. And as we start the second half, Baldwin Wallace has a 29-26 lead. Both teams will switch sides of the floor, and off we go. Starting 5 back out there for the Jackets as Colombo has it in the keyhole. Bounces to Sydney Clark. Looking for Colombo, and she turned it over. Pulled away by Fiorito. Gibbs runs the floor. Anna Gibbs played okay in the first half, but was not spectacular. She had 6 points. There's a foul away from the basketball there. It's going to go on Clara Lemon, her second. Inbounds pass to Katie Mandich. She wildly throws one up there. Didn't fall in for her. Hughes considered a three-pointer to try and extend that lead, but instead passed it away.
They might all be a little gun shy from behind the arc now after that 0 for 9 second quarter.
0 for 9 in the second quarter after hitting only a few in the first quarter as Colombo got fouled there from behind. BW had 3 of 8 three-pointers in the first quarter. I'm sure the message from Sherry Harrer in the halftime locker room was get to the rim. First foul whistled against Kristina Vukovic. And the free throw is no good from Clara Lemon. The winner of this game will play Loras College from the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the IIAC. And Lemon missed them both. Loras with a 73-66 win over a very good LaRoche team. Right at the rim, Collins didn't put it in. BW trying to get back up the floor quickly. Hughes, the fake in the drive, and a turnover. Smith gets back defensively to guard Gibbs. He forced it up too long. Offensive putback didn't go the first time, but the second time is good. Kat Fiorito makes it 29-28.
Second chance points, opportunities there. Coach Hare's not going to be happy about those.
Lemon's open as the BW bench tries to stay in it. Clark pulls up, and the mid-range jumper is good. Sydney Clark's got 4 points, and the lead is back to 3 for Baldwin Wallace. Foul at the top of the arc. It's going to go on the freshman Casey Hughes. That's her first. Wommeldorf replaces Clara Lemon, who missed those couple free throws. And there's a few new faces out there as Tilton and Sherelds check in. They'll all play guard with Gibbs. Kat Fiorito and Kristina Vukovic, the other two. This was probably Worcester's best group of 5 out there. An illegal screen at the top of the arc, and it goes back the other way. Screen on Vukovic.
A look around the OAC, the number 17, I believe they still are, Ohio Northern Polar Bears, continue their undefeated season. They knock off Castleton by not even a close game, 60-36, down in Cumberland University's tournament.
Ohio Northern and BW are probably the 2 best teams on the women's side. Here in 2016 and 17. Colombo was able to get rid of it. Wommeldorf, it's tied up, and it goes the other way on the possession arrow.
And the other score that's a final right now, Mount Union beat Bershia. I don't even, at Worcester, I don't even know, or at Wittenberg's tournament. Never even heard of that school, but there's a team that always gives the Jackets trouble at home and away, and that's their next conference game.
Mount Union, Wilmington, and Ohio Northern the next 3 as Gibbs puts it in. Gibbs has 8, it's 31-30. Worcester has never led as Smith tries a triple, and she puts it in. Katie Smith gives Baldwin Wallace a reason to be excited. Yellow Jackets are undefeated, but they're not even receiving national attention yet, as this one rolls home for Vukovic. Critics would probably point to the record for their competition. I think BW would say, look, it's not our fault. The schedule is what it is. You just got to go out and play the next game. Good look from Clark to Wommeldorf. 36-32.
Double team got caught, and Wommeldorf went right behind it and laid it in.
Rachel Wommeldorf continues a nice game with 8 points. She's the leading scorer for Baldwin Wallace this evening. Colombo pulled it away on the deflection. 5-on-2. Wommeldorf has 10. Timeout, Wooster. It's a full timeout after a slow start to the third quarter. Baldwin Wallace figured it out the last couple of minutes. The Yellow Jackets lead it by 6. Close to the midway point in the third quarter here at the BW Holiday Invitational. Third quarter action continues as Baldwin Wallace moves back on the defensive end after a nice little run. They've hit a couple of shots and force a quick steal. Mackenzie Colombo with her foot on the gas. Does not finish right underneath the hoop. And yet the Jackets catch the break and they get it right back after the Wooster Fighting Scots turnover.
There's one thing I was going to say earlier too. BW, for whatever reason, has started slow in a lot of games this year and then just turned it on and pulled away from a lot of teams in the second half.
The Jackets have not missed a shot so far since halftime. And a late foul whistled against Baldwin Wallace. I beg your pardon, against Wooster, sends Baldwin Wallace to the line. Riley Schill will shoot free throws. Courtney Lockhart picks up her first. It's team third in the third quarter. The first free throw makes it a 7-point game. BW's largest lead is 9 at 23-14, right at the beginning of the second quarter. They've had it trimmed to 1 a couple of times, 29-28 and 31-30. But BW is on a nice little run here. It does not extend with the free throw. Nevertheless, 8-2 over the last several minutes, and the Jackets comfortably lead once more. Kara Marshall, Riley Schill, Tiffany Bentler. A couple of new faces on the floor as Wommeldorf contests the shot. Forced to miss, but the putback was too strong. Cashigano couldn't put it in. And effect circling and finishing.
Effect picks up her 8th point of the game to go with 9 rebounds. I told you her game has gotten better.
Sherelds was wide open and she made the Jackets pay for it. 41-35 as Aki Sherelds has 13 points. Fact around the perimeter. Marshall drives the baseline, hits the bottom of the backboard. It gathers it back in. The ball never hit the rim, so there's only 4 to shoot. Marshall lets it go. It's just too short. And effect with terrific effort, trying to keep it alive. Wooster down by only 6 points. Out of travel.
I think the two officials were on two different pages. Far away, I think he was calling the reach in. Underneath called the travel.
It's kind of funny. They were both nodding at each other, but neither of them made a signal.
Finally, somebody took charge.
BW sends Megan Schubert, the 6'3 junior, off the bench. Schubert does not see a lot of playing time, but she certainly can make a big difference. She averages about 6 minutes a game. She's played all but 2 games so far this season. But with size like that, as Hannah Fecht got called for a double dribble, size like that in the middle of the paint, he can certainly make a difference on the glass.
And if things stay pat as it is, they're going to need her height tomorrow.
Anna Gibbs. Back to Sherelds. It was jarred loose by Bentler. And Wooster got it back. Only for a moment. Collins with 10 to shoot, gave it up. Gibbs' pass to the left corner was deflected. 3 to shoot. She got it off. It didn't go. Gibbs just wouldn't give up on it.
That was a pretty decent shot at the buzzer that just went off the rim.
It didn't look good, but it nearly went in. Schill is wide open. Off the mark. Stolen by Marshall. Great anticipation. Fecht for 3. The bottom. 44-35. It's back to the largest lead of the game for BW. 11 points for Hannah Fecht. A foul away from the basketball.
And for the second straight game, Hannah Fecht is just 1 rebound shy of her first career double-double.
Hannah Fecht's career high is 11 rebounds, career high 17 points. Those both came in November of 2016 against Oberlin and Case earlier this season. The foul whistled against Riley Schill. Late third quarter, Baldwin Wallace not having their best game by most measures, but they still lead over a Wooster team that's fighting hard today and making them really work for it.
Fighting Scots, fighting hard, like to give there, Brendan.
I have to be honest, it was not intended. And the shot is up and good. All right, so Kat Fiorito makes it 44-36. Skip pass over to the other corner. Schill. In one.
That's part of the game for Schill, that where I know I said earlier she's probably the heir apparent to McKenzie, but there's her game, part of her game, that early on she goes to the hole and is not afraid to take the contact and try to get the three-point play.
Riley Schill, just another one of these young players for Baldwin Wallace that's making a big difference early in her career. She misses the free throw, but the Jackets get it back.
With that, Fecht picked up her career double-double.
Fecht passing to Marshall, now to Bentler. Three ball didn't go.
Good look out of the corner, just didn't fall.
And a travel. Kat Fiorito gave it free. Lockhart checks in for Wooster. Clark and Colombo both return for Baldwin Wallace. 46-36, late third quarter. Alongside Jeff Miller, I'm Brendan Gulick. Glad you've chosen to make the BW Holiday Invitational a part of your holiday week. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas or Hanukkah seasons if you celebrated those. Looking forward to basketball coming up soon in 2017 with New Year's starting next week. That ball apparently deflected off of a Fighting Scott out of bounds, so it stays underneath the basket with 16 to shoot.
Worcester's turned the ball over 15 times so far in the game, resulting in 12 points. for the Yellow Jackets.
Offensive foul goes the other way. Bob Domenico emphatically signaled for that offensive foul. He almost punched Sidney Clark. That was a little too close.
I think he was emulating the elbow that I think that came from Megan Schubert going down the off into Vukovic, unfortunately. But yeah, he was fanatic on that one.
Kara Marshall checks out. And so does Tiffany Bentler as Smith and Hughes return with Schubert, Clark, and Colombo. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Winner of this one plays Loras College. They're from Iowa. It'll be tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the BW Holiday Invitational Tournament Championship game. The jump shot, no good. Oh, too bad. Katie Smith did a great job throwing it off of Wooster, and then she caught it when she was standing out of bounds.
And still looked like she didn't do anything wrong. Heads up play, unfortunately, went right back in her breadbasket.
Lockhart off the inbound. I thought she should have just gone straight up with it. She took that dribble, and that gave the defense time to close down on her. Gibbs nearly stole it away. Instead, Hughes has it in the corner with room. Floats it up. Schubert there with a rebound, and she was fouled on the turnaround.
Going to the line for BW, number 14, Megan Schubert.
So Megan Schubert will shoot a couple of free throws. She has only hit 1 out of 2 free throws here in 2016. So she doesn't get to the line very often. And she missed the first. This was a 31-30 game early in the third quarter. And BW decided enough of this, and they've gone on a 15-6 run ever since then. Schubert can't connect on either of them. She races back up the floor.
You're saying she hasn't gone to the line very often? She hasn't gone to the line since the second game of the year.
3 ball is good from Sherelds. The Wooster defense hustles back as Sherelds has 16. But Colombo goes right to the rim.
Nobody even stepped up to see her. She just saw it and took off. The reigning OAC player of the week.
48-39, Colombo has 6 points today. Gibbs for 3. She banked it home. 48-42.
Sydney Clark was coming out with trying to block it, but she banks it right past her.
Gibbs has 11. I think that even surprised her. 5-second difference between game and shot clock. Colombo on the baseline, missed the jump shot. Shot clock is off as Wooster comes up 3-on-2. The transition runner rattles its way through. Aquia Tilton makes it 48-44. Colombo at the buzzer. Too short. A really nice close to the third quarter for the Worcester Fighting Scots. They trailed by 1 and then trailed by 10. But with an 8-2 run over the last couple of minutes, Worcester's made it a 4-point game. Fourth quarter action coming your way next on BWYellowJackets.com. Tonight's BW Women's Basketball Holiday Invitational is brought to you by the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Hope you'll stay with us tonight. 4-point lead for the Yellow Jackets, who have never trailed in this game, but Wooster is giving them all they can handle. The Fighting Scots have dropped 9 in a row as Colombo tries a 3 and missed it, but Wommeldorf's putback is up and in.
Talked about BW. Talked about BW going 0 for 9. They went 2 for 6 from 3, so getting a little better on the defense, but not where they want to be.
Mackenzie Colombo has not had her best game today, but so far BW's hanging in there as the Jackets travel and turn it over. Baldwin Wallace leads the game by 6. Good shot fake, and it's worthwhile. Katie Mandich brings it back to a 4-point effort.
One of the things we talked about pregame, Brendan, was a team like Worcester's playing for everything to knock off a team like BW's caliber, and they're in it. They're down 4 with 8 minutes left, and BW quick calls a 30-second timeout, but they're in it, and that's not what you want a team that's 1-9. It's lost 9 straight to be in it with only down 4.
Jackets by 4 with 9 minutes to play. Baldwin Wallace burns a timeout with 8:53 left in regulation. It's their first called timeout of the game. Jackets nearly force a turnover.
Great block there by Katie Smith.
Gibbs wants a 3, and she put it in.
Worcester not going away.
50-49. Wommeldorf rolls home the layup.
She's just 2 points away from her tying her career high tonight, too.
She's got 14 in what's been a terrific effort for her off the bench. There's a foul on Colombo as she extended that forearm. Colombo's going to get hit with her second foul. A couple of substitutions coming here as Schill and Fecht replace Hughes and Clark. Natalie Cashigano comes back over toward the bench. All right, Katie Mandich gives it up to the top. Skip pass to the far side, and a foul is called. And Effect got called for a foul. What a move underneath. 52-51. Katie Mandich with her second basket in as many trips down the floor. But BW answers. And Effect with a three-pointer at a huge moment.
She's got 14 now. That's an answer that they needed.
Runner is good from Gibbs. It's 55-53.
The action's just picked up in the last minute here. Bam, boom, boom. It's all it's been.
Gibbs has 16. A ball fake from Riley Schill. She drives around. Fecht another triple. That one just popped away. And the young sharpshooter races back defensively. Worcester tries to tie the game, but not on that shot. Last touch by Fecht, so it stays on that end of the floor. Baldwin Wallace is really being tested by the Fighting Scots. Wooster has not won a game since their season opener at Geneva back on the 16th of November. The second time in a row that Mandich went to that move and it worked again. We are knotted at 55. Schill feeds Wommeldorf. And she's fouled as she goes up with it.
Pretty nice move there by Wommeldorf to get by everybody and then put it down.
Everybody coming to life here inside Ursprung Gymnasium. We've got a nail biter here in the second game of the tournament. Wommeldorf's shot is up and good. Tiffany Bentler returns as Colombo has a seat. Wommeldorf with 15, one shy of her career high. And it's good. I beg your pardon, the shot is not good. If you're following along with us on the live stats, just know that the logos are actually on the wrong side. Baldwin Wallace leads the game 56-55. At the top of the arc. A skip pass wildly thrown to Gibbs, and her three ball sat on the top of the backboard for a second. Fecht pulls it down. BW leads by one. And an offensive foul. 6 minutes to go, Jeff, and I got a feeling we're just getting started with the drama here late.
I would totally agree with you. I just was going to say, I think Fecht had the right idea, bringing it all the way back out of the defensive end, but took that one extra dribble, and that was it. Got picked up for the offensive foul.
BW shooting it at a 42% clip. Same shooting percentage as the Fighting Scots. Tilton gave it to a teammate in the corner where Fiorito then threw it away. Vukovic goes to work. Pulled clear by BW. Bentler with another turnover.
Fiorito got that coming back.
Wooster has never led. They trail by one. Tilton gives them the lead. Lisa Papinetto, the head coach for Wooster, with a big smile on her face at the moment as Bentler's bucket immediately takes the lead back. Wooster fighting all the way to the finish. (58-57). No good on the shot. Clark tips the rebound to herself. 3-on-1, and Clark tried to take it herself. Her putback is good. 60-57, and we've got a timeout called for. It's a full timeout called by the Fighting Scots. Baldwin Wallace 60, Wooster 57. Back in a moment on BWYellowJackets.com. Back inside Rudolph Ursprung Gymnasium at the Lou Higgins Center. It's Baldwin Wallace 60 and Wooster 57. Brendan Gulick and Jeff Miller alongside with a fun game 2 on hand again. We had a really good game one as Kylie Orr shoots a rainbow three. It was out of bounds, and so the Fighting Scots go back defensively. Wooster took the lead 57-56 for literally about 6 seconds before BW took it back. That's Worcester's only lead of the game. But a team that hasn't won a game since mid-November is right there against an unbeaten Yellow Jacket group. Schill and Fecht work to Colombo. She was open. Gave it up to Clark, who wants a three. Didn't go. On the sideline, it's back to BW.
Great hustle there by Sydney Clark to get that loose ball and knock it off the Worcester player out of bounds. Did not see this one when we were coming into the game to think it would be this tight, this late.
Baldwin Wallace has not shot the basketball well here this evening, but they still have a three-point lead at home. Colombo finds the far side and Fecht. Down to Clark. Half the shot clock's expired. Fecht for three.
Ties her career high in points and I'll go along with her first career double-double.
63-57. Hannah Fecht with 17 for the second time this season. Last did it against Oberlin, and she's got a breakaway layup. Fouled and does not complete the and one. Nothing really that Sherrells could do other than just try and hack her. What a fun game this has been. Baldwin Wallace has had to really work for this one. The free throw is up and good. 64-57. We are expecting to briefly chat with head coach Sherry Harrer at the conclusion of this game. We hope you'll stick around for that. We'll give you the post-game numbers as well. And there will be at least 30 minutes on the clock before the BW men take the floor in the third game of the day. Fecht completes the free throw. It's 65-57. So the third game of the night will not start exactly at 6, given that it is now 5:30. It'll be shortly after 6 o'clock unless this one goes to overtime. But it's an 8-point lead for BW with 3 minutes to go. Sherrells contested three, and she almost banked in another one. Fecht runs down the rebound. Great effort from Hannah Fecht. Baldwin Wallace having such a great season, but sometimes the mark of a good team is being able to win games when you don't play at your best. And Fecht may have just thrown in the dagger.
Her
22 points.
Career night all over the board for her. Career high in rebounds, career high in points, and her first career double-double. She's been the spark that the Jackets need right here.
Fecht got another rebound. Colombo got fouled at the top of the arc when Gibbs tried to poke it away. Hannah Fecht, 22 points, 12 rebounds. She's hit 6 of 9 threes and 7 of 10 shots from the floor in total with a couple free throws. Just a terrific effort. 2 minutes to play. The Jackets lead this game by 11. Remember, they were down 57-56. This is a 12-0 run. Fecht on the right wing. Back to Colombo. 5 to shoot it. Colombo drives and scores. 14-0 run for the Yellow Jackets from the moment that Worcester took the 57-56 lead. Baldwin Wallace with just 90 seconds left in the game looks like they're heading to tomorrow's championship game against Loras College. Anna Gibbs draws contact and she'll shoot free throws.
And the Dewhawks are leaving the building as they know they are probably preparing for the Yellow Jackets.
LaRoche left this game at halftime But Loris stuck around a little longer. They wanted to see who they might be playing in the championship game. And because this one has kind of gone down to the wire, sort of like that game did, 17 points now for the team's leading scorer, Anna Gibbs, and give her 18. That ends the 14-0 run. Wooster will still fight over the final minute, but it looks like they're going to fall to 1-10. And yet I think they could give LaRoche a terrific game tomorrow if they come out with this same kind of intensity.
They have the guard play to match up with LaRoche's guard play.
Mackenzie Colombo with just an extra couple of points for good measure. She's got 10 to get to double figures. 72-59. Gibbs launches and missed. Fecht with a rebound again. 14 caroms today for Hannah Fecht. Looks like head coach Sherry Harrer called for a timeout. Wants a 30-second timeout. All right, so BW stops the game here with a final 29 seconds still ahead of us. But Jeff, it looks like we're headed tomorrow for a championship game between two teams with kind of contrasting styles. We saw Loris willing to run the floor, but boy, their size was a big difference.
Yeah, they're a team that more of a half-court kind of offense. They did run when they had to, because I guess when you get in a game against a team of LaRoche who just is like, you know, speed racers back and forth of the speed they had, you got to get into it a little bit. But yeah, we're going to try and push too, maybe a little bit tomorrow. But we're kind of a half-court offense as well. But when we get rolling, we get rolling. So it all depends what Loris is going to give us. I know they're going to have to try and get around the big players, but it's going to be an interesting championship game tomorrow.
A foul immediately on the inbound as the Fighting Scots will play all the way through the end as Katie Mandich commits her first personal. Just the fourth team foul, not at the limit yet. And Fecht with 22 and 14. And another foul goes against Vujovic. So Clara Lemon goes to the free throw line. That's 4 on Vujovic. And Clara Lemon's free throw makes it a 14-point game. Seven points for Lemon and make it 8. Baldwin Wallace about to win their 10th game in a row to start the 2016 calendar. And even though they haven't received a lot of attention nationally, it won't be long before they do. Foul into the basket with just under 15 seconds left. A reminder, if you're interested in watching the two men's games that will be played today, Baldwin Wallace will tip off shortly after 6 o'clock against Adrian. And in the final game of the day, Medaille will take on Rose-Hulman. Gibbs and Sherelds have both had really nice efforts today. They've combined for 35 of the 60. Sherelds with 17 and now 18. Each have 18 points. A foul on the inbounds. So the Yellow Jackets are in the bonus. And it sends Mackenzie Colombo to the free throw line. Colombo with a little icing on the cake, puts it in. So she's got 11, helping add to what's become a decent game for her. And it rolls home again. 76-61. Actually, I beg your pardon, Colombo has 13 points. Gibbs chucks up a second three. Neither one of them go in, and that'll do it. Baldwin Wallace gave up a basket to go down 57-56, and then they ripped off 14 points in a row en route to a major win, 76-61. It was not easy for Baldwin Wallace by any stretch. They had to really fight against an inspired Wooster Fighting Scots team, but the Yellow Jackets pulled it off, and Baldwin Wallace wins the game by 15 points. We'll take a quick timeout and hope to be joined by head coach Sherry Harrer when we come back on BWYellowJackets.com. Stand on there.
For whatever reason, this does not.
Brendan Gulick and Sherry Harrer with you as the Yellow Jackets win in a convincing effort, 76-61. Coach, you kind of went down to the wire at the end of this game. Wooster took a 1-point lead, and then your team ripped off 14 points in a row. What did you see there late?
Our kids are competitors. I knew this was going to be tough. They are way more talented than their record shows, Wooster is. And maybe the kids finally figured out that this isn't going to be they started competing. And when our kids compete, we're pretty good.
You competed hard in the first half, but I think some of the shots just weren't going down. All 9 3-pointers that the Jackets put up in the second quarter were misfired shots. So when you have a team that is just kind of in a funk shooting the basketball, how do you try to keep the spirits up and encourage just to keep taking good shots?
Well, we talk about 7, 8s, and 9s. We're always trying to get 7, 8s, and 9s, and we settled. We settled because when we were able to penetrate, we were getting some easy bounce passes for layups early, and we got away from that. And they weren't bad shots. They were open threes. But when it's not going, you got to find other ways to get going before you jump back into the threes.
Before your game today, you had a chance to see the game played ahead of time, and that was against two pretty good teams, Loras College and LaRoche College, either of which could have won that game. Loras came away at the end, and I know their size is going to be a concern tomorrow.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, our posts got to come to play tomorrow. And the guards, too. Our guards have to get some ball pressure to help alleviate some of the post situation. We're just going to have to play our A game. We were okay today. We're A sometimes. We were F it sometimes today. We need the A game for 40 minutes tomorrow.
Well, congratulations on the 10-0 start, and best of luck in tomorrow's championship game.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right, a 76-61 win for the Yellow Jackets. We bring Jeff Miller back in for our post-game wrap-up. Baldwin Wallace with a 15-point win here this afternoon. And, Jeff, I know you got to be happy with the way the Yellow Jackets did a lot of things there toward the end of the game, especially with what Hannah Feck did off the bench.
Yeah, Hannah Feck had an unbelievable game, as we said throughout the broadcast. 22 points, 15 rebounds, both career highs, her first career double-double. They put her on her back, and BW rode Hannah down all the way to the finish line. And, you know, one person always seems to step up in a BW matchup, and you get 22 points out of her, 13 out of Rachel Walmendorf tonight, who's just had an exceptional start to the game and a mid portion of the game too. Not a full, complete 40-minute game for her, but she hustled down. And then you get 14 points out of Mackenzie Colombo, where you didn't even see 14 points come out of her, and all of a sudden she has double points.
Baldwin Wallace did enough to beat the Worcester Fighting Scots with that late run, despite the fact that Anna Gibbs and Aki Sherelds each finished with 18 for Worcester. Jackets shot it incredibly well in the second half. Check this out. They hit 17 of 28 shots in the second half, 50% shooting in the third quarter, and they connected on 9 of 12 shots from the floor in the fourth quarter. BW turned it on when they needed to. We're getting ready for Game 3 of the day as the Yellow Jacket men will take on the Adrian Bulldogs in the opening game of the men's BW Holiday Invitational. Hope you can join us for that one. The final score again here for Game 2, Baldwin Wallace women 76, Wooster 61. BW will play in tomorrow's championship game against Loras College at 5 o'clock. Until next time, I'm Brendan Gulick for Jeff Miller. So long from Ursprung Gymnasium.